In a cozy hollow of an ancient oak tree lived a gentle owl named Ollie. His feathers were as soft as whispered wishes, colored in warm browns and creamy whites that reminded everyone of fluffy clouds at sunset. Ollie loved nothing more than the peaceful moments when day turned to night and the world became quiet and still. As the sun slowly dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in soft purples and deep blues, Ollie awakened from his peaceful daytime slumber. He carefully preened his downy feathers, making them extra fluffy and perfect for his nighttime flight. The evening air was warm and gentle, carrying the sweet scent of blooming moonflowers. From his perch in the old oak tree, Ollie watched as the first stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky. They looked like tiny diamonds scattered across a velvet blanket, each one twinkling with its own special light. The moon, round and full, cast a soft silver glow over the sleeping forest below. Tonight, Ollie decided to explore some of his favorite peaceful places in the forest. His wings, specially designed by nature for silent flight, carried him smoothly through the cool night air. Each wing beat was as quiet as a falling leaf, allowing him to glide like a gentle cloud across the star-filled sky. First, Ollie visited the peaceful meadow where wild grass swayed softly in the evening breeze. The tall grass looked like waves in a silver sea under the moonlight, moving back and forth in a gentle dance. Little field mice scurried below, their movements as soft as whispers in the quiet night. Near the meadow's edge, Ollie spotted his friend Luna, a wise old rabbit who loved to watch the stars. Luna's fur gleamed silver in the moonlight as she nibbled on clover leaves. "Good evening, Ollie," she whispered, her voice as gentle as the evening breeze. "The night is especially peaceful today." Ollie landed softly beside Luna, his talons barely making a sound as they touched the dewy grass. Together, they watched shooting stars streak across the sky, making wishes on each one. Luna shared stories about the constellations above, speaking in soft, soothing tones that blended with the nighttime sounds. After bidding farewell to Luna, Ollie flew to the quiet pond, where water lilies floated like little boats on the mirror-smooth surface. The moon's reflection danced on the water, creating patterns of light that sparkled like countless tiny stars. A family of ducks slept peacefully among the reeds, their heads tucked under their wings. As Ollie glided over the pond, he noticed his friend Willow, the wise old tree who stood at the water's edge. Willow's branches swayed gently, creating peaceful shadows that danced on the water. Her leaves rustled softly, telling stories of countless peaceful nights just like this one. Higher and higher, Ollie soared until he could see the entire sleeping forest below. From this height, the world looked like a cozy patchwork quilt, with dark patches of trees and lighter patches of meadows. The river that wound through the forest gleamed like a silver ribbon in the moonlight. Ollie spotted other nighttime friends as he flew. Cricket, who played gentle lullabies with his legs, and Firefly, who created tiny dots of soft light that danced through the darkness. Each creature contributed to the peaceful symphony of the night, making it feel like a warm, comforting blanket had settled over the forest. As the night grew deeper, Ollie visited the ancient pine grove where the air was filled with a soothing pine scent. The tall trees swayed gently, their needles creating a soft, swooshing sound like distant ocean waves. Here, Ollie found his friend Echo, a small bat who loved to share quiet stories about the forest's dreams. Together, Ollie and Echo watched as clouds drifted lazily across the moon, creating soft shadows that moved like gentle giants across the forest floor. They spoke in hushed tones about the beauty of the night and the peace that came with darkness. As the first hints of dawn began to color the eastern sky, Ollie knew it was time to return to his cozy hollow. He said goodbye to Echo and began his journey home, gliding through the cool morning air. The stars were beginning to fade, like tiny candles being gently blown out one by one. Back in his hollow, Ollie settled onto his soft bed of downy feathers and moss. He could hear the early morning birds beginning their gentle songs, welcoming the new day. The night's peaceful adventures had left him feeling content and sleepy. As Ollie closed his eyes, he thought about all the wonderful, quiet moments he had shared with his friends. He remembered the twinkling stars, the gentle breeze, the smooth pond, and the soft grass in the meadow. Each memory was like a sweet lullaby, helping him drift into peaceful dreams. The ancient oak tree creaked softly, singing a quiet lullaby of its own. Ollie's breathing became slow and steady as sleep gently wrapped around him like a warm blanket. In his dreams, he continued to soar through star-filled skies, carrying peace and tranquility wherever his silent wings took him. And so, as the sun rose higher in the sky, Ollie slept peacefully in his cozy hollow, knowing that when night fell again, new gentle adventures would be waiting for him in the quiet forest. The day creatures went about their activities quietly, careful not to disturb the sleeping owl, who had spent his night spreading peace and calm throughout the forest. In a cozy burrow beneath an old oak tree lived a small bunny named Cotton. Cotton's fur was as soft as morning clouds, and his heart was as warm as summer sunshine. Every evening, before settling into his nest of dried leaves and downy feathers, Cotton would carefully brush his teeth with his favorite purple toothbrush. One peaceful evening, as the golden sun was setting and painting the sky in gentle shades of pink and orange, something magical happened. Cotton's toothbrush began to sparkle with a soft, silvery light. Tiny stars seemed to dance around its bristles, twinkling like dewdrops in the morning light. "Hello, Cotton," whispered the toothbrush in a voice as gentle as a spring breeze. "I'm Marina, the Tooth Fairy's special helper. Would you like to join me on a peaceful adventure through the forest?" Cotton nodded softly, his ears swaying gently like flowers in a summer meadow. Together, Cotton and Marina floated out of the burrow, carried by a warm, gentle breeze. The forest was quiet and peaceful, with moonlight filtering through the leaves, creating patterns of silver light on the soft moss below. Fireflies danced slowly through the air, their gentle lights blinking like tiny stars. As they drifted along, they came upon a young deer who was having trouble sleeping. "My teeth feel uncomfortable," the deer whispered sadly. Marina glowed with a soft, comforting light. "We can help you," she said kindly. Cotton showed the deer how to brush properly, using gentle, circular motions, just as his mother had taught him. The deer's eyes grew heavy with contentment as Marina's magic helped soothe his teeth. "Thank you," he murmured sleepily, settling down in a bed of soft ferns. Cotton and Marina continued their journey, floating past ancient trees whose branches swayed gently in the evening breeze. They met a family of hedgehogs who were preparing for bed, and Cotton shared his knowledge about taking care of their tiny teeth. Marina's magical light helped them see how to brush even their smallest teeth properly. The hedgehogs curled up contentedly, their peaceful breathing joining the gentle symphony of nighttime sounds. As they floated higher, they could see the entire forest bathed in moonlight. Below them, owls glided silently between the trees, and crickets sang their soft lullaby. The stars above twinkled like diamonds scattered across a velvet sky, each one seeming to whisper sweet dreams to the forest below. Near a bubbling stream, they found a group of otters who were learning about keeping their teeth clean. Cotton and Marina showed them how important it was to brush after eating, and the otters practiced with smooth river pebbles, guided by Marina's gentle, magical light. The night air grew cooler, and Cotton felt his own eyes growing heavy. Marina noticed and said in her soft voice, "It's time to return home, dear friend. You've helped so many animals tonight." They drifted back toward Cotton's burrow, carried by a carpet of moonbeams and starlight. As they floated, they saw all the animals they had helped, now sleeping peacefully in their homes. The deer was dreaming under his fern canopy. The hedgehogs were snuggled together in their nest, and the otters were curled up by the stream, their teeth clean and bright. Back in his burrow, Cotton settled into his soft nest. Marina's light grew dimmer, more soothing. "Thank you for helping me teach others about taking care of their teeth," she whispered. "Every night, when you brush your teeth, remember our peaceful journey through the forest." Cotton's eyes grew heavier as Marina's light became as soft as starlight through morning mist. He thought about all the friendly animals they had met, all sleeping soundly in their forest homes. The gentle sound of leaves rustling outside his burrow reminded him of Marina's peaceful voice. As Cotton drifted off to sleep, he felt Marina return to her toothbrush form, still glowing faintly with magical starlight. The forest outside grew quieter, with only the gentle hooting of a distant owl and the soft whisper of wind through the trees. In his dreams, Cotton floated once again through the moonlit forest, surrounded by twinkling fireflies and gentle starlight. He dreamed of helping more forest friends learn about taking care of their teeth, all while being carried by warm, gentle breezes through the peaceful night sky. And so, Cotton slept peacefully in his cozy burrow, his purple toothbrush glowing softly beside him, while the forest night wrapped everything in its gentle, dark blanket. The stars continued their slow dance across the sky, watching over all the sleeping animals below, each one dreaming sweet dreams of magical adventures and kind friends who helped them learn and high grow. In the branches of an ancient oak tree, where the leaves whispered gentle lullabies, there lived a family of songbirds in their cozy nest. The nest was woven with the softest feathers and the most delicate strands of silk soft grass, making it the perfect place to rest as evening approached. Mother Bird had carefully crafted this special home, weaving love into every tiny twig. Her 3 little chicks, with their downy feathers as soft as clouds, nestled close together as the golden sun began its slow dance toward the horizon. The evening air was warm and sweet, carrying the gentle fragrance of sleepy flowers closing their petals for the night. As twilight began to paint the sky in gentle shades of lavender and rose, Mother Bird gathered her little ones closer. "Time to prepare for sleep, my darlings," she cooed softly. The smallest chick yawned, his tiny beak opening wide as his eyes grew heavy. His siblings snuggled closer, their feathers brushing together like whispered secrets. The forest around them was beginning its nighttime symphony. Crickets played their quiet violins, while the evening breeze conducted a gentle melody through the leaves. Far below, a stream hummed a peaceful song as it flowed over smooth, round stones. Each sound blended together into nature's perfect lullaby. Mother Bird began her evening ritual, smoothing each chick's feathers with her gentle beak. "Rest your wings," she hummed softly. "Let your thoughts float away like gentle clouds in the evening sky." The first little chick closed his eyes, imagining himself drifting on soft cotton cloud pillows. "Listen to the evening song," Mother Bird continued, her voice as soft as moonlight. "Feel the peaceful rhythm of the forest's heart." The second chick nestled deeper into the nest, feeling the warmth of her siblings and the comfort of their cozy home. Her small body grew heavier with each peaceful breath. The moonlight began to filter through the leaves, creating patterns of silver light that danced slowly across the nest. Like a gentle blanket, it covered the forest in its soft, glowing embrace. Stars began to twinkle overhead, each one a tiny nightlight, watching over sleeping creatures below. Mother Bird spread her wings slightly, creating a warm canopy over her drowsy chicks. "The moon is rising," she sang softly, bringing dreams on silver wings. The stars are singing their quiet songs, blessing each sleeping thing. The third chick yawned once more, his little eyes fluttering in the peaceful darkness. A gentle night wind carried the scent of jasmine and evening primrose, flowers that only shared their sweet perfume when the world grew quiet. The breeze whispered ancient lullabies, passed down through generations of trees, each leaf adding its own gentle note to the melody. "Sleep now, my precious ones," Mother Bird murmured, "while the night wraps its velvet wings around our nest." She began to hum a soft, wordless tune, one that seemed to blend with the very breath of the sleeping forest. The sound floated through the air like feathers on a gentle breeze. Below their nest, the forest settled into its nighttime rhythm. Soft moth wings fluttered past like drifting flower petals. An owl glided silently through the trees, its wings making no more sound than a passing cloud. Even the leaves seemed to move more slowly, as if the whole world was preparing for sleep. The three little chicks were growing heavier, their eyes closing longer with each peaceful blink. The smallest one made a tiny, contented sound, like a falling leaf touching the ground. His sister nuzzled closer, her breathing becoming slow and steady. The third chick was already floating in peaceful dreams. Mother Bird continued her gentle song, weaving memories of the day into sweet dreams for her little ones. She sang of sunny meadows and gentle breezes, of soft rain on leaves and rainbow-crowned clouds. Her voice merged with the evening sounds until it was impossible to tell where one ended and the other began. As the night deepened, the stars grew brighter, each one twinkling like a loving eye, watching over the sleeping world. The moon's silver light filtered through the leaves, touching each sleeping chick with its gentle blessing. Mother Bird's song grew softer and softer, becoming no more than a whispered breath. The nest swayed ever so gently in the night breeze, rocking like a cradle suspended between earth and sky. The ancient oak tree held them securely in its strong arms, its leaves providing a sheltering canopy of peace. Each breath the sleeping chicks took was matched by the slow, steady rhythm of the sleeping forest. Now the only sounds were the softest whispers of wind through leaves, the distant murmur of the stream, and the peaceful breathing of three sleeping chicks. Mother Bird gazed lovingly at her sleeping family, her heart full of quiet joy. The night wrapped them all in its gentle embrace, keeping them safe until the dawn's first light would softly wake them once again. In the peaceful darkness, the nest became a tiny island of dreams, floating in a sea of starlight and shadow. Mother Bird's eyes grew heavy as she listened to the breathing of her sleeping chicks. The forest lullaby grew fainter and fainter until all that remained was the sound of peaceful sleep, carrying them all gently through the quiet night. High up in the beautiful sky, where fluffy clouds drift like soft cotton pillows, lived the bright and caring sun. Every day, the sun shared warmth and light with all the creatures of the world. But just like all of us, the sun needed rest too. As evening approached, the sun began to feel sleepy after a long day of shining. Golden rays stretched across the sky like gentle arms reaching out for a warm hug. The time had come for the sun's special bedtime routine. First, the sun wrapped the sky in beautiful colors, painting everything in soft shades of pink and orange. This was the sun's way of saying goodnight to all the flowers in the meadows, who slowly closed their delicate petals. The daisies nodded their sleepy heads, and the roses wrapped themselves in their green leaf blankets. The sun smiled warmly as the little birds flew back to their cozy nests. Mother Bird sang sweet lullabies to their babies, while the gentle evening breeze carried the peaceful melodies across the quiet forests. The trees swayed softly, their leaves whispering peaceful bedtime stories. In the peaceful pond below, the water lilies closed their blossoms, and the friendly frogs began their evening song. The sun watched as the ducks tucked their heads under their wings, ready for peaceful dreams. Even the busy bees returned to their hives, tired after gathering sweet nectar all day long. The sun had a special friend named Cloud, who helped with the bedtime routine every evening. Cloud would bring soft, fluffy blankets of mist to wrap around the mountains, making sure everything felt cozy and safe. Together, the sun and Cloud created beautiful sunset patterns that danced slowly across the evening sky. As the sun moved lower in the sky, warm golden light touched the tops of the tall mountains, giving them a gentle goodnight kiss. The snow on the highest peaks sparkled softly, like twinkling stars beginning to wake from their daytime rest. The deer in the forest found their favorite sleeping spots under the old oak trees. Rabbits hopped back to their burrows, and squirrels curled up in their tree homes. The sun smiled at all the woodland creatures preparing for bedtime, just like the sun was doing. The gentle light now turned a peaceful shade of purple, spreading across the sky like a cozy blanket. The sun watched as children in their homes began their own bedtime routines, putting on soft pajamas, brushing their teeth, and listening to bedtime stories. In the meadows, the fireflies began their peaceful dance, carrying their tiny lanterns to light the way for any creatures still finding their way home. The crickets started their sweet evening lullaby, a soft and steady song that made everything feel peaceful and calm. The sun's eyes began to feel heavy, just like yours might feel now. It was time for the final part of the bedtime routine. The moon, who had been waiting patiently, came to take over the night watch. The moon was like a gentle nightlight, keeping everything safe while the sun rested. As the sun slowly drifted lower and lower, the first stars appeared, twinkling like tiny silver bells in the darkening sky. They were like little nightlights, warming up to watch over the world while the sun slept. The clouds gathered around the sun like a soft, fluffy pillow, ready to catch the last warm rays of the day. The sun gave one final, sleepy smile to the world below. Everything was peaceful now. The flowers were sleeping, the birds were quiet, and all the animals were tucked away in their homes. The gentle evening wind sang a soft lullaby, carrying dreams on its peaceful breath. The sun felt more and more relaxed, drifting slowly toward the horizon. The sky turned deeper shades of blue, like a cozy blanket being pulled up higher and higher. Just before settling down completely, the sun whispered goodnight to all the sleeping flowers, the dreaming animals, and the children in their beds. The last rays of sunlight touched the clouds, turning them into soft pillows of pink and gold. Finally, wrapped in clouds, like a warm, downy blanket, the sun closed its tired eyes. The moon smiled gently, watching over the peaceful world below. The stars twinkled their quiet lullaby, and all was calm and still. The sun drifted into peaceful dreams, knowing that tomorrow would bring another beautiful day. But for now, it was time to rest, just like all the flowers, animals, and children below. The night was peaceful, quiet, and filled with sweet dreams, as everyone slept safely under the watchful eyes of the gentle moon and twinkling stars. In a cozy cottage at the edge of Whispering Woods lived a dragon named Jasper, who was unlike any other dragon you might imagine. His scales weren't rough and sharp, but soft and pearly, shimmering like morning dew on rose petals. Instead of breathing fierce flames, Jasper could blow the gentlest, warmest breath, perfect for heating up cups of tea. Jasper loved nothing more than hosting tea parties in his garden, where soft purple flowers nodded their sleepy heads in the afternoon breeze, and fluffy white clouds drifted lazily overhead like cotton candy floating in the sky. His garden was filled with plump cushions, each one carefully arranged on weathered wooden chairs that creaked softly in the most comforting way. Every afternoon, as the sun began its slow dance toward the horizon, painting the sky in soft pastel colors, Jasper would prepare for his special tea party. He would carefully lay out his favorite china teacups, each one decorated with delicate pink roses and golden trim that sparkled ever so softly in the fading sunlight. On this particular day, Jasper had invited some very special friends. There was Oliver, the wise old owl, who always wore a tiny bow tie and spoke in gentle, hushed tones. Luna the rabbit, whose fur was as soft as clouds, and who had the most wonderful way of wiggling her nose when she smiled. And finally, there was Sophie the squirrel, who had the fluffiest tail anyone had ever seen, and collected the finest acorns for Jasper's tea time treats. As his friends arrived one by one, Jasper greeted each with a gentle bow and a warm smile. "Welcome, dear friends," he would say in his softest voice. "Please make yourselves comfortable." He had learned all the proper tea party manners from his grandmother's special book of etiquette, which she had written in her elegant, flowing handwriting. The afternoon sun wrapped them all in a warm, golden embrace as Jasper began pouring the tea. He had prepared his special blend of chamomile and honey, with just a hint of lavender that made everyone feel peaceful and content. The steam rose from each cup in graceful swirls, like tiny dancers performing a slow, dreamy waltz in the air. "Would you care for one lump of sugar or two?" Jasper would ask each guest, holding the sugar bowl with his most careful grip. His claws, which he kept perfectly polished, would delicately pick up the tiny sugar tongs. and perhaps a cookie from this lovely plate," he would offer, presenting a selection of butter cookies that melted softly on the tongue. Oliver the owl would always respond with a gentle, "Thank you kindly, 1 lump, please," while Luna preferred her tea with just a drop of milk that swirled into the tea like clouds merging in a peaceful sky. Sophie would graciously accept 2 cookies, carefully holding them in her tiny paws as she nibbled with perfect manners. As they sipped their tea, they shared stories in soft, peaceful voices. Oliver told tales of starlit nights and the gentle rushing of wind through ancient trees. Luna spoke of morning dew on clover leaves and the soothing sound of rain pattering on flower petals. Sophie described the comfort of her cozy tree home, lined with the softest moss and sweetest smelling pine needles. Jasper listened to each story with genuine interest, nodding gently and offering kind words. "How wonderful," he would say, or "That sounds absolutely lovely." His grandmother had taught him that being a good listener was just as important as being a good host. The afternoon drifted by like a lazy cloud, peaceful and unhurried. When cups were empty, Jasper would carefully refill them, making sure the tea was always just the right temperature with his warm, gentle breath. The friends would smile contentedly, feeling safe and warm in each other's company. As the sun began to sink lower, painting the sky in soft shades of pink and purple, the air grew cooler and more peaceful. Jasper brought out soft, warm blankets for his friends, each one carefully chosen in their favorite colors. Oliver's was a deep forest green, Luna's a gentle lavender, and Sophie's a warm autumn brown. The friends snuggled into their blankets, feeling cozy and peaceful as they watched the first stars begin to twinkle in the darkening sky. The garden grew quieter, with only the soft whisper of leaves in the evening breeze and the gentle clink of teacups being set down on saucers. When it was time for the tea party to end, Jasper thanked each friend with a gentle hug and a warm smile. "Thank you for coming to my tea party," he would say softly. "Your company makes my heart feel as warm as a cup of fresh tea." As his friends made their way home through the twilight garden, Jasper carefully collected the teacups, humming a soft melody to himself. He thought about how wonderful it was to share peaceful moments with dear friends, and how sometimes the quietest times could be the most special of all. That night, as Jasper curled up in his cozy bed, he smiled contentedly, knowing that tomorrow would bring another chance to share warmth and kindness with his friends. The moon cast a gentle silver light through his window, and the stars twinkled like tiny candles in the dark velvet sky as all the creatures of whispering woods drifted off into peaceful dreams filled with warm tea, soft blankets, and the gentle company of good friends. In a cozy little house on a quiet street lined with sleepy maple trees lived a young boy named Tim. His bedroom was filled with soft, twinkling night lights that made everything feel warm and peaceful. On Tim's bathroom shelf sat a very special toothbrush with bristles that sparkled like starlight and a handle that glowed with a gentle blue light. Every evening, as the sun painted the sky in soft purples and pinks, Tim's magical toothbrush would wake up from its daily rest. It would softly whisper to Tim, "Time for our evening adventure, my friend." Tim always smiled because he knew something wonderful was about to happen. Tonight, as Tim held his special toothbrush, it began to hum a sweet, gentle tune. "Tim," the toothbrush whispered, "would you like to see something amazing? There's a beautiful world inside your mouth where tiny sparkle creatures live. They're looking for a new home, and I know just the perfect place for them." Tim nodded sleepily, feeling safe and comfortable with his trusted friend. The toothbrush's bristles began to shimmer with a soft, pearl-like glow. "Close your eyes," the toothbrush hummed, "and imagine tiny stars dancing on your teeth." As Tim brushed, the magical toothbrush showed him wonderful things. Each tooth in his mouth became a little crystal castle, gleaming and pure. The sparkle creatures, which looked like tiny dots of light, were actually friendly beings that needed to find their way home to the land of crystal waters. "These little sparkle creatures," the toothbrush explained in its gentle voice, "love to play on teeth, but they need to return to their own world each night. When we brush, we help them travel through a magical stream of water, down the sink, and into their beautiful crystal home." The water from the tap transformed into a flowing river of starlight. Each drop contained a rainbow, and as Tim and his toothbrush worked together, the sparkle creatures began their peaceful journey home. They didn't rush or hurry. They simply floated down in a gentle, swirling dance. "Watch how they twirl," whispered the toothbrush, like autumn leaves in a soft breeze. Tim could see the sparkle creatures spinning gracefully, leaving behind a trail of clean, shining teeth. Each tooth now glowed like a pearl in moonlight. The magical toothbrush continued its soothing story as they brushed. In the crystal waters, where the sparkle creatures live, everything is peaceful and calm. The waters flow over smooth stones that look like precious gems. Soft lights dance in the depths, and gentle music plays from singing shells. As they reached each new tooth, the toothbrush would hum a different, peaceful tune. Front teeth received a lullaby about moonbeams, while back teeth got songs about floating clouds. Each melody was more relaxing than the last, making Tim feel increasingly drowsy and content. "Almost done," the toothbrush whispered. "See how happy the sparkle creatures are, finding their way home? They're thanking you for helping them, Tim. Every night when you brush, you're not just keeping your teeth clean. You're helping these magical beings return to their beautiful world." The last few sparkle creatures waved goodbye with tiny trails of light as they swirled down the sink. The magical stream carried them gently away, and Tim could almost hear their tiny voices singing songs of gratitude. "Now your mouth is a clean, peaceful place," the toothbrush said softly. "Each tooth is like a little moon, reflecting light and keeping its secrets safe until tomorrow. When you sleep tonight, the sparkle creatures will be dreaming too, in their crystal pools and starlit caves." Tim rinsed his mouth with water that felt like drinking liquid starlight. His teeth felt smooth and clean, and a peaceful warmth spread through his whole body. The magical toothbrush's glow became softer, more subdued, ready for its own rest. "Thank you for another wonderful adventure," Tim whispered to his toothbrush as he placed it back in its holder. The toothbrush gave one final, gentle twinkle, like a star winking goodnight. As Tim crawled into his bed, he could still feel the peaceful energy from his magical brushing adventure. His whole body felt clean and relaxed, ready for sweet dreams. He thought about the sparkle creatures safely home in their crystal waters and smiled softly. The night wrapped around him like a warm, gentle blanket. His breathing became slow and steady, matching the rhythm of the evening's brushing. As sleep began to embrace him, Tim dreamed of crystal pools, gentle streams, and tiny creatures dancing in soft, starlit waters. And so, Night after night, Tim and his magical toothbrush shared these peaceful adventures, keeping his teeth clean and his heart full of wonder. Each evening brought new gentle discoveries, but always ended the same way, with Tim drifting peacefully to sleep, knowing that somewhere, in a world of crystal waters, his sparkle creature friends were dreaming. In a peaceful garden where morning dew sparkled like tiny stars, there lived a gentle chameleon named Charlie. He spent his quiet days resting on soft leaves and warm branches, changing his colors as softly as clouds, changing shapes in the evening sky. Charlie loved watching the garden's colors shift from morning pink to afternoon gold, and he could match them all with just a gentle thought. Not far from Charlie's favorite resting spot lived Preston, a beautiful peacock with feathers that shimmered like a rainbow caught in morning light. Preston would often walk through the garden, his elegant tail trailing behind him like a flowing river of colors. The morning sun would catch his feathers just so, creating little dancing lights that looked like stars fallen from the night sky. One peaceful morning, as golden sunlight filtered through the leaves and gentle breezes carried the sweet scent of flowers, Charlie and Preston met near the old willow tree. Its branches swayed ever so softly, like a mother gently rocking her child to sleep. The two friends began talking about colors and beauty, their voices mixing with the soft whispers of the leaves. "Dear Charlie," Preston said in his gentle voice, "I've watched you change your colors so beautifully. You can become as pink as the sunrise or as blue as the afternoon sky. Shall we have a friendly little contest to see who can show the most beautiful colors?" His voice was as soft as flower petals floating on a calm pond. Charlie, who was resting on a warm stone, smiled softly. "That sounds like a lovely idea, Preston," he replied, his voice as gentle as the morning mist. "We can make it a peaceful game, just for fun." The morning sun wrapped them both in its warm, golden embrace as they agreed to meet the next day. As the new day dawned, painting the sky in soft brushstrokes of pink and lavender, Charlie and Preston gathered in a quiet meadow filled with nodding flowers. Butterflies danced lazily through the air, their wings catching the light like tiny stained glass windows. Other garden creatures came to watch, settling comfortably on soft patches of moss and sweet-smelling grass. Preston went first, spreading his magnificent tail in a gentle, flowing motion. It opened like a magical fan, revealing colors that seemed to flow one into another. Deep blues like midnight skies, greens like moss after spring rain, and purples like twilight clouds. Every movement was slow and graceful, like leaves dancing in a gentle breeze. Then it was Charlie's turn. He began to change his colors, slowly and softly, like watercolors blending on a canvas. First, he matched the pink of the morning sky, then the soft purple of nearby flowers, and then the gentle green of new spring leaves. Each change was as smooth as clouds, shifting shapes on a lazy afternoon. The garden creatures watched in peaceful wonder as both friends shared their gifts. The butterflies settled on nearby flowers, their wings gently opening and closing like tiny fans. Even the busy bees paused their collecting to watch, hovering quietly in the warm morning light. As the morning stretched into afternoon, something wonderful began to happen. Charlie and Preston started to realize that their different ways of showing colors were both beautiful in their own special way. Preston admired how Charlie could blend perfectly with every flower in the garden, while Charlie marveled at how Preston's colors always stayed true and bright. The old wise owl, who had been watching from his cozy spot in the willow tree, floated down on silent wings. His voice was as soft as moonlight when he spoke. "Dear friends, you have discovered something more precious than any contest. You have found that beauty comes in many different ways, just as the garden shows its colors in both the steady roses and the changing sky." Charlie and Preston looked at each other and smiled, understanding filling their hearts like warm sunshine. They decided that instead of having a winner, they would spend their days sharing their gifts with the garden. Preston would walk slowly through the flowers, his colors bringing joy to all who saw him, while Charlie would play gentle games with the young animals, helping them find peace in the art of blending with nature. From that day forward, the garden became an even more peaceful place. In the morning, you might see Charlie resting on a branch, his colors shifting softly with the changing light, while Preston walked serenely among the flowers, his tail flowing like a gentle stream of living colors. Together, they made the garden a place where everyone could find beauty in their own special way. As evening approached, casting long, soft shadows through the trees, Charlie and Preston would often meet under the willow tree. They would watch the sunset paint the sky in gentle colors, each appreciating how the other saw and shared the beauty around them. The garden would grow quiet, with only the soft whisper of leaves and the gentle evening breeze to break the peaceful silence. And so, as stars began to twinkle in the velvet sky like distant diamonds, the garden would settle into its nighttime rest, content in knowing that tomorrow would bring another day of gentle colors and peaceful friendship. The moon would cast its silver light over the sleeping flowers, while Charlie and Preston dreamed of all the beautiful colors they would share again when the sun rose on another peaceful morning in their magical garden home. In a faraway valley, nestled between rolling hills covered in soft purple heather, there lived a very special dragon named Jasper. Unlike other dragons who lived in dark caves, Jasper made his home in a cozy meadow filled with fluffy dandelions and sweet-smelling lavender. His scales weren't fierce or frightening at all. They were a peaceful shade of pastel blue, like the morning sky just before sunrise. Jasper had the most peculiar habit. When he slept, which was quite often, he would snore. But his snoring wasn't loud or harsh. Instead, it sounded like gentle wind chimes dancing in a summer breeze. The soft musical notes would float through the valley, bringing comfort to all who heard them. The woodland creatures who lived nearby had grown to love Jasper's melodic snoring. Every evening, as the sun painted the sky in soft shades of pink and gold, they would gather near his meadow. Rabbits would snuggle into the tall grass. Deer would rest their heads on patches of moss, and birds would settle into the branches of nearby trees, all waiting for Jasper's peaceful lullaby. One particularly lovely evening, as stars began to twinkle like tiny diamonds in the velvet sky, something unusual happened. Jasper, who normally slept through the night, opened his eyes. The gentle sound of his snoring faded away, and the valley fell silent. The woodland creatures stirred, wondering what had awakened their musical friend. A warm smile spread across Jasper's face as he looked around at all his friends who had gathered to listen to his sleepy songs. He had never known that his snoring brought such comfort to others. His heart felt as warm as sunshine on a spring morning. My dear friends, Jasper whispered softly, his voice as gentle as falling flower petals. "I had no idea you enjoyed my sleeping songs so much." His eyes sparkled with joy as he gazed at the gathered animals, each one looking back at him with affection. A wise old owl named Luna glided down from her perch and landed beside Jasper. "Your songs help us all find peaceful dreams," she cooed softly. "They remind us that the night is a time for rest and gentle thoughts." Jasper felt touched by Luna's words. He had always been a bit self-conscious about his snoring, but now he understood it was a gift, a way to help others find comfort and rest. As the moon rose higher in the sky, casting its silver light across the meadow, Jasper settled back down among the flowers. The woodland creatures snuggled closer, ready for their nightly ritual. Jasper closed his eyes, and soon the familiar, soothing melody of his snoring began to fill the air once again. The sound drifted through the valley like a lullaby carried on clouds. It whispered through the leaves of ancient trees, danced with the evening mist, and wrapped around each creature like a warm, cozy blanket. Some nights, when the moon was especially bright, the valley would fill with a soft, silvery glow that seemed to make Jasper's snoring even more magical. On these nights, dewdrops would gather on spider webs and flower petals, creating tiny mirrors that reflected the moonlight and made the meadow sparkle like a field of stars. As time passed, word spread about the dragon, whose snoring brought sweet dreams. Animals from distant parts of the forest would journey to Jasper's meadow, seeking the peaceful rest that his gentle songs provided. Even on the coldest winter nights, when snowflakes fell like tiny feathers from the sky, creatures would huddle together near Jasper, kept warm by his presence and lulled to sleep by his tranquil melody. Jasper learned that sometimes the things that make us different are actually our greatest gifts. His unique way of sleeping had created a special place where all creatures could find rest and comfort together. As our story draws to a close, imagine yourself in Jasper's peaceful meadow. Feel the soft grass beneath you. Listen to the gentle rhythm of his snoring floating through the air like a sweet lullaby. Let your thoughts become as light as clouds, drifting across the evening sky. The stars above twinkle their approval as Jasper's soothing song continues through the night, bringing peaceful dreams to all who hear it. And if you listen carefully, on quiet nights when the wind is still, you might just hear the gentle melody of a sleeping dragon, inviting you to join him in the land of dreams. Now close your eyes and let Jasper's peaceful song carry you to your own sweet dreams, where gentle dragons soar through soft clouds and the moon spreads its silver light across a quiet world filled with wonder and rest. In a cozy little house on a quiet little street, there lived a young boy named Timmy, who had the most wonderful bedtime friend anyone could imagine. This special friend wasn't a teddy bear or a soft blanket, but a beautiful blue toothbrush that sparkled like starlight and spoke in the gentlest whispers. Every evening, as the sun painted the sky in soft purple and orange hues, Timmy would walk up the carpeted stairs to his warm bathroom, where his magical toothbrush waited patiently on its little silver stand. The toothbrush, whose name was Whisper, would softly glow with joy whenever Timmy entered the room. "Good evening, my dear friend," Whisper would say, in a voice as soft as falling flower petals. "Are you ready to make your smiles sparkle like the evening stars?" Timmy always smiled at these words, for they were part of their special nighttime routine. Whisper had a special way of making teeth brushing feel like a peaceful adventure. "Let's imagine we're floating on fluffy clouds," Whisper would say, as Timmy added a small dollop of minty toothpaste. Each tooth is like a tiny cloud that needs gentle polishing to keep it white and bright. As Timmy brushed, Whisper would tell stories about the Tooth Kingdom, a magical place where all teeth lived in harmony. In the Tooth Kingdom, Whisper would explain in soothing tones, "Every tooth is like a tiny house, and we must keep their homes clean and happy." Together they would count slowly as they brushed each section of Timmy's mouth. 1, 2, 3, Whisper would softly sing, gentle circles, slow and free. 4, 5, 6, like peaceful rain, making teeth shine bright again. The counting helped Timmy remember to brush long enough to clean all his teeth properly. Some evenings, Whisper would describe the beautiful gardens in the Tooth Kingdom, where toothpaste flowers bloomed under rainbow waterfalls of fresh water. Each drop of water, Whisper would say, helps wash away the daily adventures your teeth have had, just like the evening rain washes the sleeping flowers. Timmy especially loved when Whisper talked about the different teeth and their special jobs. Your front teeth, Whisper would explain in hushed tones, are like the friendly doorkeepers of your smile. They greet everyone with warmth and help you take the first bite of your favorite foods. The back teeth, Whisper explained, were like gentle giants who work together to help grind food into tiny pieces. They're strong but kind, Whisper would say, and they need extra attention to stay happy and healthy. As they moved from tooth to tooth, Whisper would remind Timmy about the importance of being thorough but gentle. Like petting a sleeping kitten, Whisper would say, we want to be soft yet careful with each precious tooth. Sometimes when Timmy felt tired, Whisper would share calming thoughts about the nighttime world. Just as the moon watches over the sleeping earth, Whisper would whisper, your toothbrush watches over your sleeping teeth. Each evening, they would finish their routine by rinsing with cool, clear water. Listen to the peaceful sound of the running water, Whisper would say. It's like a tiny stream in the forest, helping to keep the woodland creatures clean and fresh. After Timmy finished brushing, Whisper would praise him with words as soft as moonlight. Your smile now sparkles like dewdrops in the morning sun, Whisper would say. Each tooth is clean and happy, ready for peaceful dreams. Before saying goodnight, Whisper would remind Timmy that taking care of his teeth was a way of showing love for himself. Just as the stars take care of the night sky, Whisper would say, we take care of our teeth with patience and kindness. As Timmy placed Whisper back on the silver stand, the magical toothbrush would give one final gentle glow. Sleep well, my friend, Whisper would say. Tomorrow we'll share another peaceful adventure in keeping your smile bright and beautiful. Timmy would then walk to his bedroom, feeling clean and content, knowing that his magical friend would be waiting for him the next evening. His teeth felt smooth and fresh, like pearls polished by the gentle waves of the sea. As he drifted off to sleep each night, Timmy would think about Whisper's kind words and the magical Tooth Kingdom. He dreamed of rainbow waterfalls and toothpaste flowers, of smiling teeth living in their tiny houses, and of the gentle adventures they would share tomorrow. And so, night after night, Timmy and his talking toothbrush continued their peaceful bedtime routine, making the simple act of brushing teeth into a magical moment of friendship and care. Each evening brought new stories, soft whispers, and the gentle reminder that taking care of ourselves can be as peaceful as watching the stars twinkle in the night sky.